coming off of the recent election of the first female vice president, the first Black female vice president, the first generation American Black female vice president. These issues about women in the workplace that I think people have kind of, I wouldn't say avoided, but I think there was an unspoken kind of assumption about the limits on a woman's ability to ascend in the workplace to, we'll say, the higher office in whatever context that is, that barrier is definitely being broken.
I think a lot of women attorneys would probably say Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She's just an amazing leader, and she was an inspiration. She just did what she did. She accomplished so much in her lifetime, and she did it with such grace. And she used it, she used her knowledge and tenacity to do that. She didn't go after people. She didn't really do it in a polarizing way. And she was able to be friends with and to communicate with people and respect people that had differing point of views, which I think is something that's not as common anymore.
I've always looked to my mother, my grandmothers, my aunts, my godmother, my sisters-in-law, now my nieces. I'm surrounded by a lot of very diverse women, and I think I drew a little bit of inspiration from all of them. Some work outside the home, some don't. Some are married, some aren't. Some have children, some don't. But I think just seeing these women live their lives and interacting with them, I take little pieces from all of them, because I don't think there's any one way to be a woman. Just like there's not any one way to be a lawyer or a bus driver or a doctor or anything. I think you kind of have to take little bits from everybody.
Well, absolutely, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I've always been a huge fan of hers, and it's always exciting, especially when you're in law school and you're reading all these opinions, and there's just the dissent from a strong female voice. She's very inspiring. She's definitely been one of them.
That may be cliche, but I have to admit, my mother is the one that I've always looked up to. I mean, I know there's women in the legal field. Everyone, I'm sure has talked about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who is a wonderful role model. But personally, I have to say, growing up in the 60s, I just think my mother did a phenomenal job, and she never gave up, and she did it while raising 5 daughters. I have been practicing, and I raised my 2 daughters, who I believe are successful, and that's who I still to this day look up to.
I look up a lot to, my mother, who never went to college. She was an assistant and then took off quite a bit of time to raise my brother and myself. She's had a lot of adversity in her life, including a life-altering stroke that she had 10 years ago. And each and every day, she perseveres and puts out her best effort. And she always told me, when I was growing up, that if you put your mind to something, you could do whatever you want to do.